welcome to another wargame review from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
Kind of a wargame, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's a game that you're fighting each other, so it has war in it between prehistoric creatures.
War between the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So this is Dinosaur Table Battles from Hollandspiele. It's designed by Tom Russell. And I don't know.
God Tom Russell.
Yeah.
That guy can design some pretty cool games.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
So this is a version of his game called Table Battles. I think Table Battles is one of their most popular titles.
And actually, we really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We played 2 or 3 scenarios, and it was fun.
And I've played a couple solos.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's a quick little
Light.
game.
Yeah.
There's some really cool strategy in it, but
Yep.
it's like you said, it's light fare. You
Very
roll some dice,
easy.
take an action, trying to outwit your opponent and make
Yeah.
it work, and it takes about 20-25 minutes to play at the most.
If that. But yeah,
So this
a great
is
little system.
this is a dinosaur version of that.
Yes.
So Tom's wife Mary loves dinosaurs apparently.
Yes, there's a whole story and narrative that I find hilarious as you read the information in the rule book, on the back of the box. You know, Tom likes to pretend that, you know, Mary forced him to make this game about dinosaurs when we all know the truth.
Yes.
Tom has his little plastic dinosaurs, and he's out there fighting with them on the table. But I would do that too if I had cool little plastic dinosaurs.
Yes.
But a very cool thing that he's done here, created kind of this little narrative going on with, we're creating this system and we have to do it. And
the game doesn't take itself seriously.
no, it is a fun, light game.
Even though it's a nice, it's just a little shift from Table Battles. Use the same core system.
Well, there's some minor changes. We'll talk about that. But for all intents and purposes, it's Table Battles lighter. I think because it's not really lighter, just lighter theme,
just slightly different.
Yeah, not a historical theme,
Right?
But it is a prehistorical theme,
Yes,
right?
This is still a historical war game.
Okay.
Absolutely,
It's just prehistorically.
Yeah, prehistorical war game. How many of those do you ever play?
I don't know that I've ever played one.
Well, we have now.
We have now.
So yeah, the rules book it's quite witty.
Did you just call it a rule book?
Well, okay.
It is not a rule book.
It
is a rule page.
This is a rule paper.
Yeah, it's 11 by 17. 4 pages of rules, and frankly, one of those pages is the credits and a really
nice
cool
picture.
dinosaur. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so that's how easy it
Very
is to
simple.
learn.
But I will say, even though it's a little simple, meaning the mechanics are simple, getting down, because you've got so many different abilities, there's so many ways to use them. Some of them you can put only 1 dice on there at a time, and we'll talk about that too, but it's getting those things down, I found more challenging than the rules themselves.
Right.
And that's
how to utilize your guys.
And it's very cool. It's a very cool game.
Yeah. But I like it because it's just the back of the box is funny.
Yeah.
And the rules, you could tell Tom sat there at a computer and he's written it's very dry humor.
His humor style.
It's great. But this is a game that, because it's easy to learn and easy to play, and it has a cool dinosaur theme.
Yeah.
Hollandspiele normally makes historical war games. This is a game you could play with anyone. You could even just scrap the war game part of it and say, this is a dinosaur game.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what people would expect, where dinosaurs fight each other.
I would agree.
So this has a wide appeal. You can play this with your family, you can play it with your friends, play it with anyone.
And it truly has some very interesting, mechanics, and there's a lot of strategies to explore and try to understand. Like, the first game we just did the intro scenario, then we did the drafting.
Yes.
And now that we've played again and experienced more dinosaurs, I'd be like, I'm going to be drafting that guy because, wow, that's a great ability. Or that ability really works well in tandem with this. I love abilities that it almost forces your opponent into a no-win situation. Some of these dinosaurs, it's like, they're going to take a damage. But if you attack me, you're going to take like 2 damage because, hey, I have the T-Rex. And I love those kind of things, forcing the opponent to figure out how to get around my prickly defenses. I don't know, just very interesting.
And that's what's neat is no 2 games are going to be the same.
No.
The drafting mechanic's new, right? Because you don't have the set historical battles that original Table Battles has. This is just dinosaurs fighting each other, right?
Right.
So you draft these dinosaurs back and forth, then you've got your dinosaurs. And the actual core game is you roll 6 dice, and then you assign a number of them to their actions on various different dinosaurs. And you can give dice to 2 dinosaurs at most.
Yep.
And then how and where you place those are restricted by the actions themselves.
And if you remember in the historical table battles, it was like different colored formations.
Yes.
So you might have 2 blue formations and 1 red and 1 pink. You could put dice on 2 different colors.
Yes.
You couldn't put them all on the blue guys. Here it's just been simplified to be 2 dinosaurs. Which I liked.
Yeah, but it's the same. You know, you take 1 action, then you roll and assign your dice.
Yes,
it's still that same core game. You assign them in the same way. Your attacks and your reactions are very, very similar.
Yep.
But you just have the big new thing. I think it's the passive abilities. Some of the historical ones have special capabilities and stuff.
Right.
But these, like every dinosaur has a passive that will have pretty specific game effects that like will change how you and when you attack different guys and things like that.
Yeah.
And the other big difference is you're not limited to who you can attack. This dinosaur can attack any one of yours that I decide.
Right.
Whereas before, you have that kind of telegraphed. You have to attack this guy first. When he's dead, you can then attack the next guy and the next guy that's listed on the card.
Which I really like that because that's kind of a battlefield mechanic where you can't get to those guys in the rear until you take out the guys up front. It made sense to me.
Yeah, that has a purpose.
Right.
This one is just, you have 6 dinosaurs, we're having a free-for-all melee kind of thing. So it's just, Yeah,
it's more simple in that respect.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be serious.
But the passive abilities are very cool. I really enjoyed trying to figure out how to use those to my advantage. Some are very, very passive. Like, for example, the Stegosaurus, it's like, if nothing happens, they just take 1 less hit, right? They have armor.
They can just kind of absorb an extra hit if you do nothing with them.
If you don't try to do a reaction attack. Whereas the Triceratops, I used him in the first game, you had him in the second. That's a really cool ability.
If you save up all your dice and do a big attack, then it's like
you don't
really
take any hits,
good.
And so I really enjoyed trying to figure out how to use that. The T-Rex, I mean, there's a reason he's the king of all dinosaurs. The T-Rex has so many different cool abilities. But I like the passive ability. I think that was a neat addition.
And then the other major aspect that's different is where you used to have formations had a number of kind of hit points. I don't know what they were. I can't remember what they were actually called. Sticks.
Yeah.
Here,
sticks.
Based on the number of dinosaurs and some other factors, you get a common pool, just a number of just hit tokens.
Yeah. Generic hit tokens.
That you can absorb those.
Yeah.
You lose those over time. If you lose them all, you're dead. You lose. But the other thing that you can do is your dinosaur action cards have a number on them, and you can flip those, and then you lose the capacity for what's on the card.
You lose the ability.
And then if they're all dead, then they're dead, and that dinosaur goes to Dinosaur Hospital, as we learned from the rule book.
And he's going to be okay.
And if 2 of your dinosaurs are completely flipped over, you lose the game that way. So there's 2 ways to lose, and it's just you don't have the common pool is the big difference in then flipping your cards over.
Yeah.
So then things like the T-Rex and the Dreadnoughtus become a bit more powerful because they've got 3 cards instead of 2.
Yep.
So they can kind of absorb more hits, damage, and things like that. It's really neat that way. I like that.
And it's a choice about when you take a hit. Do I lose my hit point tokens? Those are easy, but you can't get them back.
Yeah. Once those are gone, then you start flipping those cards, and it's like
But you have to decide, okay, this ability, I'm okay if I lose that. I haven't been using it. I can use this ability. But there are times where it comes down to, if I choose this one, I can't do this. And if I choose this one, I can't do that. Yeah. And that is a very difficult, and I like those kinds of decisions.
Well, and you're also looking at the action dice distribution.
Yes.
If I flipped all my cards, and then I've got 3 different cards, but they all take 5s and 6s.
So you're not going to be able to really...
that hurts your that part of the game as well. So there's some really cool things to pick apart in this.
Yep.
So a game that takes 20 minutes that has this much meat for a 20-minute game.
There's a lot of
really,
depth
really
for
cool.
a 20-minute game.
There's a lot of short games, paper thin. But this one isn't, which I appreciate. Plus, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, the art by Will Alambre is really, it's a specific type of art.
Yeah, it's
he did the
dinosaurs.
art. Yeah, he did the art for, I think it was Escape from Hades. So
Okay.
it's that, I consider this kind of a pulpy style.
Yeah.
But it's very colorful. It's
Looks
very
like this.
bright. I love it. But it just gets you into that theme really quickly and really helps you
Yes.
feel that, hey, these are titanic animals fighting each other.
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll show you the board and we'll show you the nice artwork as well. And then we'll wrap up with just some final thoughts. So here's a look at the game, and you can kind of see it's some similar in style to Table Battles, where with that one you just had an individual card represented a formation. Here you have your formation is represented by 2 or 3 cards, and it's a dinosaur, not a historical formation of fighting troops. You do also have these dino cards. These are a reference card with some little actual factual information kind of about shape and size, but it also shows their actions, and this is a value about how much they're worth. And these, you can use them for quick reference, but also these are used to draft with. You can play this. There's like one intro scenario where they recommend some dinosaurs to go up against each other, but the rest of it you shuffle them all up, and there's a bunch of them, and you basically draft them back and forth. Here is a whole bunch of these. So we got 6 out. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at least. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 15 dinosaurs or so. So all of these are all other different types of dinosaurs. So you draw 5, you discard 1 face down each, which go out of the game, and then you either play 1 face up or discard 1 face down, and you switch the hands back and forth. So there's this little mini drafting game beforehand, which is very fun. I enjoy that aspect. I always like drafting style games. It's just an interesting dynamic that I like to do and work through. But then you just set it up. So big dinosaurs have 3 cards, small dinosaurs have 2. The big new thing here is you have these passive abilities that are always in effect, and then other cards have their attack and block and reaction options. But you'll notice they also have a value on them. Anywhere from 3s, 4s, or 2s in these cases. And instead of having sticks, like which are the hit points, the strength points that get removed, here you have a common pool of these yellow discs. So you get 3 per dinosaur, and then if you have the Tyrannosaurus Rex, you get a couple extras. If you have fewer dinosaurs out, you get extras. And I think if you have fewer action cards, you get extras as well. So that's a little balancing mechanic in a sense, because if you have a weaker force, you've got more hit points, basically. So it's a little way to balance that, well, so just to keep it a little bit fairer. But other than that, functionally, it's very, very similar to Table Battles. You have your 6 dice, so you take 1 action, and then you roll your dice, and then you assign your dice. So obviously we don't have any dice out, so we'll have, this will be the first player. Don't take an action, they just roll the dice. And then the rules for assigning the dice are a little bit less restrictive than in the previous title. Here you just get to assign dice to 2 different dinosaurs. Not 2 different cards of a dinosaur, but 2 different dinosaurs. But you'll notice, just like before, if the dice are shown pictorially instead of numbers, but if they're bracketed, you can only put 1 number on there. If there's 2 different numbers, you can put 1 of those numbers, but as many of that 1 number as you want. Very, very similar to how you would do it before. So we've got, this is kind of a mess, isn't it? So we'll put 2 3s on here, and then we'll put a 6 on this one, because we're going to put 1 on there, so we'll kind of get those loaded up. These ones we can't do anything with, so they just get set to the side. These guys can't take an action because they've got no dice, so they roll them. And what do we got here? Oh, we rolled quite well. So we've got 3 6s, a 1, a 4, and a 5. So I think what we'll do is we'll stick a 5 on this guy, and 3 6s. That's kind of a waste because he can only do 1 hit with those. So this is, we'll probably load them up anyway. That's probably a mistake, but it is what it is. So then it flips back to the first player's turn, and the first thing they do is take an action. And so what they're going to do is they're going to do this particular attack here, where they do 1 hit per die, and 1 to themselves. In this game, you can choose which dinosaur that you attack. You do not have to attack whatever's listed under the attack value. You've got a bit more freedom than that. So in this instance, what we'll do is we will attack the Utahraptor. So we'll spend 2 dice. We do 1 hit per die. So they'll take 2 hits. So you just take 2 of these discs and you lose them. Unfortunately, we do 1 to myself. So we're going to lose 1 as well. And then we take our dice and we roll them and we assign them just like we did before. And, oh gosh, we rolled a bunch of 1s and we don't have any actions that take 1. So that's horrible, horrible, horrible. And we have 2 4s here. I guess we're going to stick them back on there. Then over here we'll do this attack. They'll do 1 damage only. And they will do it to... Oh, inflicts 1 extra hit when attack a small dino. This guy counts as small because he's only got 2 cards. So we'll do 1 more there. That helps us out. That's nice. Well, so this attack will probably do it on him. Oh, he can reduce the hits though. Well, these are all bad options. So this is where you would maybe not do that. But we're going to do it anyway. So he'll do 1 hit. Let's say we do it over here. It forces us to spend this in a counter, which we do 1 hit back to them, and we suffer 1 fewer hits. Yeah, it's not good either way. So in that case, what we'll do, we'll do it against this guy. Because we can waste these 2 dice. We'll do 1 hit to them, and we reduce the hits by the number of dice, but we have to use them all. So they don't take any damage, you take 1 damage. But it means I can't attack back. And this is where some of the nuance and strategy comes in of, okay, this might be a bit of a failure hit points wise, but at least I can ping you so that you don't do something else. Or you can just suck it up and take the 1 hit so that you can attack back later. And those decisions make this game pretty interesting, and it's something I really like about the game. So then they'll roll the dice. And we'll assign said dice. Okay, well, that helps us out here. So we're going to put 2 1s over here. And then we've got 5 and a 6. We'll stick another 6 on this guy. And then it's the first player's turn again. See, now we don't have this attack to do. We could do 1 hit per die, but we do 1 to ourselves, so it's not ideal. And that's the game. The other major thing that's a big difference here, and we'll just show you here if we do this one. Yeah, because we can't defend that one. So if this guy attacks, he does 1 hit plus 1 hit per die. If we do that, that's going to do 3 hits. Let's say we're going to do it against him. Because that 3 hits exceeds our value here, we can opt, instead of losing 3 health discs, we can flip one of our cards over. It's kind of taking like a big wound instead of, you know, a little accumulation of hit points. In doing that, I don't have to make change because I met and exceeded that value. I can just flip that over. I don't have to take 1 hit point as well because remember you did 3 damage. You just flip it over, but you lose that capacity. You lose that capability. And then later on in the game, it might happen again where I have to flip this guy. So this dinosaur is effectively out of the game. They're dead, basically. And that's the other way to lose the game, is you can get to a point where if you have only 1 dinosaur left, you do lose the game. So you can lose this way, or you can lose by having all of your hit discs removed, if it was to happen that way. Usually what happens is when you get down to 1 hit point left, that's the point at which you can flip these with having suffered fewer hits than this number. Normally you can only flip a card if you meet or exceed this in a single attack being done to you. So, for example, if he only did 1 damage, I do not have the capacity to flip this card. I have to take a hit point loss. And I have to do that until I get down to a number of hit points that would kill me outright. Once that happens, then I have the option. I can flip this. Even if they do 1 damage, I can flip this. It's incredibly inefficient, but I'm not going to lose the game, so it keeps you in it at least. So you can lose by having 2 dead dinosaurs, or you can lose by having all your hit points gone. But that's the game. You go back and forth, looking at your abilities and counters and attacks and things like that, and the game takes 20 minutes. You set it up, you draft new dinosaurs, you play again. So what we'll do, we'll wrap up with a few final thoughts. So that was a look at the game. Obviously not a board, but it's table battles. Just play on a table.
Very unique name. Table battles. You just put it on the table. Every game goes on the table.
Yeah, when I first heard of table battles, I was like...
I
I imagined that it was pieces on a table.
Yeah.
And then we played it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's
It
pieces
really
on,
is
I don't know
pieces
what
on
I was
a table,
expecting.
yeah.
But the artwork's really cool. And I think that the artwork style is going to appeal to a lot of people.
And some it won't. I think there's certain people that aren't going to like this art style.
Oh, interesting.
I would think there's some that don't. I'm not saying that's the case for me or you. I just think there's going to be some.
For example, if you played this with your young kids, they love the cartoon dinosaurs,
They
right?
would love it.
I love the cartoon dinosaurs.
Yeah, they would love it.
Yeah, this game has the potential for really wide mass appeal.
I would agree.
And it's not expensive, the components are nice.
No.
And it's quick and easy to learn. What's not to like about that?
Well, and like you said, for a 20-minute scenario-based game, there's a lot of meat here.
Yeah.
A lot of meat.
Without being too much. You roll some dice, you do one action, you place your dice. That's it. There are choices to make with that, but it's not overwhelming. No one's you don't have analysis paralysis in this game.
Yeah.
And if you do, it makes no difference to the length of the game.
Yeah, right. One of the other things I really enjoy about the game, the dice allocation is so very cool. The way you create your dinosaurs is also very important. We talked about that earlier. You've got to kind of get a good distribution of the different types of numbers that you can roll, because ultimately you're going to be rolling 6 dice at the start, and then you're going to be rolling anywhere from 3 to 2 to 6.
2 to 4. Yeah, I mean, you don't roll the ones that are assigned.
Yeah.
If you've got them all out, you're not rolling many dice.
But like you said, you can't have dinosaurs that have all 5s and 6s. Because guess what? I'm going to roll a whole bunch of 2s and 1s one time.
And that happens. That's happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just totally wasted that turn. So, to me, the formulation of your lineup of dinosaurs is very, very important. And you got to really think about those things. Those are more strategy points that you're going to have to figure out. But I kept drafting this Utah Raptor because 1s and 2s, man.
Yeah, he can take 1s and 2s.
Yeah,
and a lot of other dinosaurs can't.
They're going to come up once in a while, and it's like, I got to have something. So I really like that aspect of the game, and then just trying to figure out how best to utilize the abilities you have. It's just very fun.
Yeah. Dice allocation is a mechanic that I actually enjoy in non-war games, typically. And seeing it in kind of a combat game is fun.
It's interesting.
It's a neat little thing, so... I have a great time with this. It's a fun game.
Yep.
It's a light game. It's almost like a filler game.
Yeah.
Like, you can just crack this out, play a game in between 2 big games.
Well,
if you were so... Or you can sit down and play it 3 or 4 times.
You can play 2 to 4 scenarios and it's an hour.
Yeah.
Generally. But yeah, it's a great little filler game. I prefer table battles because I think we're more into historical conflict, but it ultimately, you could play both of them. I mean... Yeah,
there's no reason to not have both in your collection.
Yeah.
But if you wanted history, go for history. If you want a fun dinosaur game, this is good. Right.
And it's just... I don't know. I find that a lot of Hollandspiele's games are a lot deeper than people will give them credit for, and you've got to play them 3, 4, and 5 times to really discover and find out that depth. This system and this game is very, I think, like that.
Yeah, it's got 3 pages of rules, and it's a fun little game.
Yeah,
that's going to check a lot of boxes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
we play games for fun.
Yes.
We don't always play games to laugh our heads off. But we play games to enjoy it, and this is very enjoyable.
And there are other games that I feel a similar way, but are like 45-minute to an hour games.
Yeah.
So this is one where I'm like, we play a big game. I'm like, let's play a battle. afterwards, right?
Yep.
Whereas we might play a 3 or 4 hour game, and then it's like,
let's do a 20-minute scenario.
Some other game is like, it's an hour. It's like a whole other game. Like, this is quick and dirty, and you can squeeze it into any game session.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to hit the table a lot more as well, I think.
So one other comment I totally agree with you. One other comment I have is we know that Table Battles has had how many expansions? 5, 6?
A bunch, yeah.
Do you think he's going to do that for this?
I hope so.
I mean, it would. There's a lot of dinosaurs that aren't included in this. Now, some of these I think are made up. Dreadnoughtus, is that really a dinosaur?
I think it's a play off of
Yeah.
the dinosaur that we thought existed but didn't. Or something.
Okay. Anyway, what I'm saying is there's a lot of potential here for adding a lot of cool new novel abilities and new types of dinosaurs, and this one really has I feel like it has really the Titanic, that T-Rex and this Dreadnoughtus and the Triceratops, those are all the really velociraptors.
Like the famous ones.
Yeah, they're all there, and man, but I could see them doing a couple of different expansions, maybe with some different types, and I'll pick them up.
I think this was one of their most expensive games to make because they had the biggest artwork budget they've ever had because they paid someone to do all these commissions and they are great.
Yep, they make a difference.
But I think this one's going to sell like hotcakes because it has such a big appeal.
Yeah,
and it's easy to play.
I think that's what I would say to our wargaming friends is, don't be so serious, right? Just try something like this. You'll really find it enjoyable. And if you like table battles, there's no reason you're not going to like dinosaur table battles. Yeah. So
who doesn't want to see a Triceratops running at a T-Rex kind of snap? Like it's fun.
It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll play this with my kids when they're a little bit older. Yep. Absolutely.
I would love to play this with Maren and Jane. I think they would absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So this is Dinosaur Table Battles from Hollandspiele. Check it out if you're interested. It's on their website. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we get expansions as well, because more dinosaurs, the more the merrier, right?
I think it just came out, a couple months ago?
Yeah, so that's probably a ways off if they do that.
Yeah, they've got a lot of games lined up, I know.
But if everyone buys it, then they won't. So
then Mary will say, Tom, make some more dinosaurs.
Yes.
Right?
And he will oblige.
He will oblige. So, he's probably got 15 already designed.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys tuning in. Dinosaur Table Battles. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.